Hi Gravitrax fans, welcome to the Masked Marble where we discuss all things Gravitrax. Today we're going to look at how to repair a Gravitrax volcano. Some of you may have a Gravitrax volcano that has a hair trigger. Even a marble just passing by a track may be enough to set it off without hitting the button. Or if you use the self-loading trick, which I have a link up in the upper right-hand corner to that, sometimes just dropping a marble in may cause it to trigger. So let's disassemble it with the 3 screws here that use a Torx bit, a very small one. I don't know the actual size because the bits are not labeled in my set. But it was the smallest one I had. Just remove these 3 screws. It's very easy to do. And the back comes off. And the top part of it comes out the top. Now you see there's 2 springs in here. The small spring, which is located in an indent on the lever that triggers the volcano. Then there's a large spring on the bottom. It's this small spring that we're going to adjust because this is what is causing the volcano to trigger too easily. What we actually need to do is to stretch that spring out, so we'll do that. This is the large spring that pushes the main volcano piece up. We can slide that out from the bottom. And this spring is very lightweight, but it's just enough to push this moving piece up with the 3 marbles on it. As we examine the white part of the tile, we see it has 3 holes that line up with the top green part. Right there, those are the 3 holes, and those are the 3 holes that the screws go into to hold it together. There's the opening for the trigger. And this is the trigger spring. Now what we want to do is to pull it just past the point where it will spring back. We want to permanently deform it just a little bit, not too much. If we pull it too far, then the volcano could become too hard to trigger. So we want to make sure it's not too hard to trigger. So we just want to pull it just a little bit, and then we'll test it out. So we'll put it back in to the trigger lever, and that mounts onto this post on the inside of the volcano. Then to assemble it, we keep it topside down, and we want to make sure that that trigger spring is inserted. So first we'll put this back together. It's a little hard to put in. There we go. Okay, with the spring. Now you see that right there? That's where the spring is going to sit, and the trigger lever is going to sit right in there. So we put that in like this, and you may have to actually use something to push that spring down so that it sits flat. And now we can kind of push it up and let it latch and see. You know, this is still not really, this is still a little too light. I think we need a little more resistance there. It should be somewhat firm. So we're going to stretch the spring a little bit more. I'm just pulling it just enough to where you see the coils start to separate a little bit more. Not too much again. It just takes a little bit. Again, reassembling, making sure that that spring inserts into that slot there. Oh yeah. Now I'm trying this out. Well, it's not quite sitting flush. We got to make sure it's all sitting flush. Push that spring down, make sure it's flat against the center portion of the volcano. And as you push on it, you should feel a firmer resistance, but not too much. Picture how much force a ball is going to be able to place on that button. And before you put the screws back in, put the bottom on and try it out. So then just reassemble the bottom part and put the 3 screws in, making sure that the little tab on the bottom part goes over the hinge of the trigger. Now it doesn't matter which way the moving centerpiece of the volcano gets inserted. Because it's a symmetrical piece every 120 degrees. All right. Now let's try this. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's not as easily triggered, but still not too hard either. If I do it hard enough, it will trigger, but it takes a lot more force now. So I think that's a much better balance. What we're trying to do is not make it too hard to trigger, but we don't want it to hair trigger, where slight jostling of it makes it go off. Yeah, I don't know why some of these volcanoes have this hair trigger, and then some are almost too hard to trigger. If you have one that's too hard to trigger, you could try disassembling it and see if you could compress the spring a little bit. It's always harder to compress the spring, though, than it is to pull it out. So anyways, this is the fix for a hair trigger volcano. You can do it yourself. You just need the mini Torx bit. And that way you don't have to get a replacement from Ravensburger. Hope this is helpful. See you next time.